UFC 325 takes place this weekend. Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez 2. And while this is not my prediction video, I'm making it because I'm worried about Alexander Volkanovski. And you might go, why, MMA dummy? Why are you worried about Alexander Volkanovski? The guy beat Diego Lopez in the first fight, and he's looked good since outside of the Islam and Topuria fight. I get it. The guy's, a defending champion. He's a historic champion, arguable featherweight GOAT. Ilya hasn't put in the resume he has, so I think you can still say Volkanovski's the GOAT of featherweight. And even though he won this fight, I'm worried, man. Volk is, 37, 38 years old. He's getting up there. He's got a weaker chin. We saw that. He's been knocked down before. He's been knocked out in recent fights. He did have a good comeback. But I don't understand the point in this rematch because Diego's only looked better when he went against Gene Silva. Now, the first fight was good. Volk did very good. He had moments like this where he, I'll let it play. Lands big shots. Lands big shots in the clinch and is able to turn that into a takedown into some nasty ground and pound, which we know. We know that Volk has good ground and pound. We saw it against Yair Rodriguez in that win in order to get the finish. He had some nasty ground and pound. Doesn't matter where the feet are on the hips. He's going to find the position, the posture, land down good straights. You don't want to go throw wild hooks because you might fall back into their guard. He's got very good ground and pound. And for him to get Diego Lopez in this position after round one is worrying for Lopez, no doubt about it. I'm not going to spoil my picks that are coming out on Thursday. But it's the age, man, and he's been a bit chinny. We even saw in this fight he got hurt. We'll get to that clip. But outside of that, Volkanovski has great striking. He's got great wrestling. He's very good at putting it all together. He's arguably the featherweight GOAT. I don't care that Ilya knocked him out. Ilya didn't do the things that he did at 145. I think the resume and the longevity of Volk, proving that he can come back and get a win over a guy like Diego Lopez, proves that he is the defining featherweight GOAT, at least for now. And he looked good in this fight. But I feel like it's kind of a pointless rematch in the sense that when we're not discussing that, I'm worried because in that time that Volk has taken off after this fight, Diego Lopez has gotten back in there. And he's had very good striking, and we'll get to that in a second. But what did Lopez do in that first fight that made you worried? He made it competitive. In the second round, right at the end, he ends up hurting Volk. I'll let it play here. Every single UFC fan shit their pants when that happened. We all held our breath going, please, Volk, don't get KO'd again. Because that would have been the end of his career. That would have been the end of the featherweight. That would have been the end of the redemption arc that he was going on to get his belt back. And which we as fans, we were supporting him, so much in that because we wanted to see him back. We felt like he got robbed against Makhachev in the first fight. And in the second fight, there's a bit, home territory, short notice. He was fat. Like, it is what it is. But for Diego Lopez to do that to not prime, but a coming back in shape Alexander Volkanovski, it's worrisome going into this rematch because Volk hasn't taken any other fights to look better. If he took on maybe a Movsar Evloev or a Lerone Murphy, Lerone had that spinning KO over Aaron Pico, but he's by no means a KO artist. Most Lerone and Movsar both typically have a higher decision rate than they do finish rate, if I'm not mistaken. And I think Volk would lick his lips looking at that matchup. He'd go, look, I can strike with them, I can wrestle with them, but there's no danger that they're going to finish me. The only reason that Lerone Murphy got the finish is because Pico is so aggressive, and he's honestly kind of readable. He tries to go for TJ Dillashaw-esque movement, and it ends up with him getting chinned, just like we saw in that Lerone Murphy fight. But for Diego Lopez, he's only had time to get better. I mean, what has he done since then? Fought Gene Silva. Gene Silva just fought this past weekend. We'll get to that. But in that fight against Gene Silva, he had a very good first round. Gene was going for his dumb spinning shit, and Diego Lopez got his back, took him to the ground, and brutalized him from mount position with elbows, ground and pound, hammer fist. He was doing all the right things you do as an MMA fighter, and as an MMA fighter on top position. He was getting his ass whooped in round one. Now, round two, the thing about Diego Lopez is he seems to kind of throw the kitchen sink at you in round one. He's going to throw everything he has, reckless intent, reckless abandon. He's going to, sling uppercuts in the clinch. He's going to go for it. That typically drains his gas tank. And come round two, he's a bit more tired. He's a bit more relaxed. He's trying to find his openings rather than just go for it. He's trying to survive the onslaught but find his openings. And with a guy like Gene Silva who builds as the fight go on, this is exactly what happened. Gene started building. Gene started hitting spinning elbows. I'm not sure how long into this clip the KO is, but I'm just going to let it play because you need to see exactly what I'm talking about here.
The exact fight we were hoping for and expected. Crazy technique. Oh my goodness. He's getting elbows.
It makes me so happy. Now, I say that because I'm not a huge Gene Silva fan. He's a fun fighter, but as a person, he's annoying as shit. But you saw that. Gene Silva was getting going. He had momentum. He started getting the spinning elbows. He was feeling himself. He was seeing a fighting nerd's edit in his head. But Lopez was countered him with his own spinning elbow. It was beautiful. Diego Lopez has that factor that can end a fight just like that. I don't know if Volkanovski does at this point. He can win a fight to a decision. We saw it against Lopez, but Lopez is still young. He's hungry. His loss to Alexander Volkanovski probably only confirmed his hunger more that I am the second best in the division, and I want to get to that number one spot. And I think with the win over Gene Silva, he's got all the momentum. I think he really did fine-tune some things, and we'll see how the rematch goes. But I think Diego Lopez is overflowing with confidence at this point. And this win has aged very, very, very well, because when you look at Gene Silva, who just fought Arnold Allen this past weekend, dude aura farmed him. I personally hate this because Arnold Allen's a cool guy. Silva wasn't doing enough. I mean, he was winning the fight. This was a close fight. But you know optics. These judges from the Athletic Commission, he danced 10-9. When they see Merab pick up Umar over his shoulder and start emoting and then slam him flat on his ass, they're going to give Merab that round. Granted, I think Merab won that fight, but when you start to emote in front of the Athletic Commission judges who don't know anything about fighting, they're going to go, the crowd likes this, the guy's in a good enough position to dance on his opponent, he's probably winning the round. And Gene does this every fight. He starts emoting, whether there's a finish or not. I don't think he's been to a decision outside of this one. He emotes to try to get the favor of the fans, the favor of the judges, and I hate that so much. That's just a little tangent I'm going on. But all that to say, Diego Lopez's win has aged extremely well. Arnold Allen has been a top 5, top 10 mainstay guy in the 145 division. Went to a close decision with Max Holloway. Never counted himself out in that fight. Has really good fights. Almost beat Movsar Evloev. That was arguably a robbery because Movsar Evloev, using the bitch touch ground hand thing, where before they implemented that rule, when your hands are on the ground, you're a grounded opponent. Now that's not a thing. It has to be your knee. But before that, I mean, all that to say, Arnold Allen is a good fighter, and Gene Silva's win over him is that much better, and Diego Lopez's win over Gene Silva means that much more in this instance. It is aged well, like a fine wine is what I'm trying to say. I'm yapping here. But I'm worried, man. Diego looked good against Volk in the first fight, regardless of how it went, and his opponent that he beat after that fight looks good. There's only room for improvement with a young guy like Diego Lopez. He might be late 20s, early 30s of that, and Volk's almost pushing 40. Volk says this isn't a retirement fight unless he loses, but I'm worried, dude. His chin is not the strongest. I feel like I'm rambling here and kind of restating points, but I think you as a fan can agree with me. I mean, let me know. Are you worried for Volk, or do you think he's going to have this in the bag? Has Diego Lopez really done enough to get better as a fighter in order to beat Volkanovski, or do you think there's still levels between a win over Gene Silva and what that translates to in an Alexander Volkanovski matchup? But we'll see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and record my picks and schedule them to drop on Thursday, so stay tuned. Find out then who I pick. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about this fight. Who do you think is going to win it? I personally think that Volk's going to win. I'm just going to go ahead and spoil it. I think Volk might get it done. But maybe doing a bit more research, I could change. I mean, Lopez looked good, but he was waning in the second round. I'm going to do all this thinking off camera. But let me know your picks in the comments below. If there's a bit more to my argument that you want to add on, or a bit that you want to disagree with a counterpoint, let me know in the comments. I love engaging in conversation with y'all. If you enjoyed my video, like, comment, share, subscribe. And that's really all I got to say. See ya.